Welcome back to the vlog, and welcome here back to Nankina. We're taking a trip back to Goroka. I just loaded I had these guys load 850 kgs worth of coffee. It's just raw beans. So we'll be heading back to Goroka, but let's go ahead and get started. Headers on, fuel pump on, fuel on and low start. We're 14% as always. We'll introduce our fuel. Oil pressure's coming up, there we go. G's over 35, so I need a hung start. Now we're looking for hot starts at the ITT. And now it's dropping off. It's a 28-minute flight back to Goroka. And I thought I'd stop by Mibu, not stop by, but fly over Mibu, because I've been telling you guys about this place that they've been working on, and we did a lot of, flew out a bunch of materials to fix the Mibu airstrip. And they've fixed it, and now it's just a matter of getting an inspection on it to make sure that it is adequate. Right, controls, TAWs, switches and instruments. We are at 857. 71's our VREF, 62 to rotate. Back up to 10,000 feet on the way back. Get our radar going. Flaps are set, indicated, and verified at 20. Trim, we're going to be committed basically at the ridge right before we go down the hill. It's a 10% slope here. Pretty good sized hill. Some stupid dog wanted to get hit this morning and almost got hit, and last time the same dog almost got hit on takeoff, so hopefully I talked to them and hopefully they'll keep him out of the way. He's determined. After takeoff, pitch 85, consider EPL, consider feather, lower terrain to the right, 80 full flaps, need be cut off, pull off, and shut off. Emergencies, masters, and crack my door and let our helicopter know what's going on. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses, 5,020 degrees, same as Goroka, so 1390. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. Checklist is complete. We'll do SAR once we get up in the air, because we can never get him here. Elevation Nankina, November Tango Zulu, departing Nankina for Goroka. Will be on climb 10,000. All right. 1390. The torque set, there we go. Buddy, we are heavy. Airspeed's alive. We're now continuing to bounce our way down. There we go. Pitch for 85 knots initially. We're gonna fly right over that way because Mibu's just right over the hill, just like a 2-minute flight. The crazy thing is, it's a 12-hour hike. So I'll try to do this in real time so you can just see how short it is and see how many valleys that they have to go up and down just to get over here to Mibu. This airstrip they've been working on for like 25 years or something, and had drainage issues and a really soft spot partway up the runway. It just made it completely unusable. So we actually had to fly in all this like plastic matting for them to lay down, and then put this felt down and then put ground on top of that. That way it kind of like softens the load and it just expands the load out as the plane goes over it. So this should work and this should fix the problem. It was a lot of work. Just keeping my 20 degrees and my 85 knots for the time being, just because it's just on the other side of this hill right here, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's just like boom, right there. So I'm gonna head off here to the left just a tiny bit, kind of come down the valley and then fly over perpendicular so you guys can take a look at it. Yeah, there it is, okay. Up in this valley as far as we can so we can get down as low as we can, because we have to drop down another couple thousand feet, I think. Yep.
500.
These waterfalls up in this valley though. Oh wow, there's like 6 or 7 right there. That's really cool. You can see halfway up the runway that's all dark, kind of dirt. That's the area that they were working on. So imagine, see all these valleys down here, how steep it is. That's why it takes 12 hours to make this hike.
Sink rate, pull up.
Thank you.
Pull up. Sink rate.
Okay, thank you. That'll be a really fun place to go though when they're done. All right, let's climb on up now. We'll get our ITT up at 720, bring our prop back, 2,000 RPM. Turn our landing light, engine inlet back to normal, igniter's turned off. Moresby 5565, November Tango, Zulu departure.
November Tango Moresby, go ahead.
November Tango Zulu reading is strength 1, departed Nankina for Goroka, 1 POB. Departed time 30, tracking 251, on climb 10,000. Estimating Goroka 58.
November Tango Zulu Moresby, reading strength 1. Confirm departed at 30, another 5,000, estimate Goroka 5.
Departed Nankina 30, on climb 10,000, estimating Goroka 58.
November Tango Zulu copied, another correction 1,000, again, estimate Goroka.
Estimating Goroka 58.
November Tango Zulu, stand by for traffic.
Oh, that's always fun to hear. All right, well, these mountain ranges here go anywhere from like 10,000 to 13,000, I think, at the highest point. And we've got to get through, I think, the Nahu Gap right here, which I came through earlier, which is 11,000. So I don't think I'm going to be able to climb up that. We're going to go down to the Taw Gap a little bit further on down. It's like at 9,000. I think by the time I get to that point, I should be up high enough to get through. If you guys want to try out this same flight, flying from Nankina over to Mibu and then on to Goroka, check out my Patreon page. I'll leave the screenshot from my iPad track. It didn't pick it up, so I'm going to manually put it in, but it didn't pick it up when I left Nankina. But anyways, yeah, if you are a flight simmer and you want to try out some of these flights in PNG, I've got like 50 plus of them into a lot of these different bush places, and even have some airstrips that are not on Microsoft Flight Sim that you guys can try it as well. I think Nankina is one of those.
November Tango Zulu Moresby, no report traffic.
November Tango Zulu.
November Tango Zulu, 15 miles, Goroka, contact Goroka Tower 118 decimal 7.
15 miles, Goroka, contact tower, November Tango Zulu. Just trying to get all of his calls in now before we lose each other. All right, let's start heading towards the mountain range. By the time I get there, I might be able to cross over top of it, but how slowly I'm climbing, just 550 feet per minute. Tailwinds behind me. If I get close to it, maybe I can get some updrafts, so maybe I'll go over that way and do that. I think by the time I get there, I should be able to get through that gap right there. There, now I've got already 900 feet per minute, so the closer as I get to the edge of these mountains, I'm going to have more and more updrafts just because I've got like 15 knots kind of quartering tailwind. So it'll push me up on this side and then give me a couple bumps on the other side. If you can see down here, this little red and yellow area, that's my terrain awareness with the TAWs. So if I lose TAWs, I lose this down here. But red, you're dead, and yellow, basically you're within 1,000 feet of that terrain. Then you can see up here, this is all of our synthetic vision. It's not really correct in this area, actually. There's a couple of big, like, anomalies and pyramids of just, like, ground that's not even there. So you can't trust it all the way, but it does give you a pretty good indication on what to expect in worst case scenario. The way I'm going to be able to tell if I'm going to cross this is I'm seeing more and more of the ground on the other side. That's an indication that I'm high enough to cross through this gap. So I'm seeing more and more, so I'm just going to continue on my climb because I am seeing more and more. That's how you know if you're going to cross a mountain or not. If you're seeing less and less, you're going to smack the mountain. It's beautiful up here though, that's for sure. No one lives up this high. It's cool to look at, that's for sure. Oh, look at the waterfalls all the way down the side of the mountain. This is really, really pretty to see. It's a gloomy day too, so it keeps it nice and cool in here.
500.
Through the gap, we'll drop on back down to 10,000 feet. Or speed up to 130 knots, get coordinated now that we're speeding up. Then I'm going to bring my torque on down to 1250. Slowly adjust until I can get it right there. Now you can see I've got a couple bumps on this side just because the wind's from behind me. As it hits the top of the mountain, it starts swirling the air. Here's 10,000. As I was climbing in the plane, one of the guys who we fly coffee for brings up this envelope with some money in it. And at first, before I got this, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about culture here. So they had given me a big bag of oranges, which was really nice of them because I had bought some oranges last time. The oranges out here are really phenomenal. Anyways, he brings me a bag of oranges. Hey, these are for you. And I was like, for free? He's like, yeah, for free. I was like, oh, that's super nice, thanks. Then I'm thinking, he's probably going to ask me something later. Sure enough, as I'm climbing in the plane, oh, pilot, hey, can you maybe go pick up some trade goods stuff for us? Phone and some Maggie noodles and blah, blah, blah. Like, I knew there was something behind that probably. But that's all right. There's not a really way that they can get this kind of stuff, and it's one nice thing that we can do. We sell their coffee for them, and then we take their money back, and then while we're in town, we'll also pick up some trade goods for them. Just because, I mean, yeah, the nearest town for them would really be Madang, which is like a day and a half hike, 2 days down to the ocean, and then another full day on a boat up to Madang, another 50, 60 miles. I forgot to do my landing clearance, my takeoff clearance, which is my SAR. I got a hold of them, so now I can flip that. If you guys want one of these for yourself, I've got it for piston and turbine airplanes, and I'm also going to be getting other ones on my site that you can like basically replace the front piece, so you can do other airplanes if you want, if you're a flight simmer, or if you're just flying a 152 one day and you're flying a King Air the next day, whatever, you can swap them out in between. So I will have extra ones on my site if you want to check these out. They're really, really great. Single pilot ops way to keep yourself safe and remember to do all the items that you need to do for takeoff and landing. If you're not familiar, basically you just flip them all down as you go through them, and then when you've got them all flipped down, you've done everything that was critical for either a takeoff or landing. It's a really, really nice day out today. It's high overcast, so it keeps it nice and cool, but we'll be heading to the Bennett Gap, and we'll start our descent down into the Goroka Valley from there. What I might do on this one, just for something different, is maybe I'll fly down the Bennett Gap down low so you guys can see what that area looks like. It's called the Upper Bennett area. I've ridden my motorcycle up there a couple of times, and yeah, like every place around here, it's a really, really beautiful place to ride, and there's like a nice road that just follows along the river. This valley out here to my left is the Ramu Valley. It extends all the way up there until it goes into the Sepik. But they grow sugar down in this area, as well as there's a bunch of, you can see all those plantations down there. Those are all palm oil trees. I guess they're not technically trees, someone told me, but anyways, that's all palm oil down there. And there's a lot of that also out on West New Britain, out by Hoskins, where I fly to as well. I'll show you guys how we find out how much we can carry, because if you're wondering, well, how do you know you can carry 850 kgs out of Nankina and still be able to take off? So we have this, I've shown it to you guys before, but we have this little Excel thing on our iPad, and it converts everything from either your fuel in pounds to our kgs and what we carry. Everything here is in obviously metric, except for fuel, what we put into our wings, and that's because the G1000 only allows you to put it in pounds. So if you're wondering, oh, is it super confusing? No, it's not, because you just put a number in here and it converts everything for you, so you don't have to think about it. Anyways, I landed out there in Nankina with 530 pounds of fuel left on board, which is enough to get me back to Goroka and still land with about 50 extra, well, an hour plus 50 extra pounds of fuel. The runway penalty that we have in Nankina is 150 kgs, so I put that in my runway penalty. The aircraft weight equipment, I've taken 76 kgs off because I only have 2 seats on board back there. Then pilot, that's myself, 90 kgs with my flight bag and my camera bag. And then down here, add payload, it lets me know that I can put 857 kgs more on board. And that's exactly the pound, that's exactly what I put on here. So you type that in there, and then it'll move everything down to 0. And then down here it says 1722, that's the number I put in here. On my aux page, right here, I put in 1730. And then it spits out down here. So I put in my weight, or my fuel weight here, and then my cargo weight here. There's like pilot bag and stuff, and then it will put out a number 67, whatever it is. And then on takeoff, you need just to verify your all-up weight is the same. So when I took off, it was 6920, in which it was right there as well. Let's autopilot off. Let's start our descent down through the Bennett Gap. That way we can fly down low through there, and you guys can see what it looks like. This is Mount Hellweg right here, this kind of peak off to the right. There was a plane that went through here, through the Bennett Gap, went IMC into the clouds and then crashed into that mountain, I don't know how many years ago, quite a few, it was before my time, but because I'm going to be going down low through the valley, I'm not going to be able to pick up Goroka Tower until I'm about 6 or 7 miles from them, just because the mountains block the transmission. That's pretty typical. It usually is around 9 miles, but when I'm a little bit lower, like today, it'll be a little bit different. But anyways, looks like we have lots of smoke down in the valley today. This is the time of year that all the kids light a lot of fires and burn a lot of grass. We'll flip our landing light on, our taxi light still on pulse. Really pretty view. If you agree, give this video a thumbs up. It's awesome with all the smoke sitting low in the valley up there. The nice thing here is there's no power lines that go across the valleys, so you don't have to worry about that. That's pretty much the end of the road right there. Oh, no, it's not. You can go through that little river right there. I remember now. So yeah, this road below me is the road that I've ridden up on a couple times. Pretty cool. Anyways, hopefully you guys can see a couple of the villages here. I'm not low enough to really see their houses, but I still want to stay legal from a distance standpoint. At least you guys can see a little bit more of, yeah, we've got a lot of gardens down here. There's a road up here, so there's a lot more tin roofs up here as well. There's a cave up in these areas. I've never been up to it, but some of the guys I was talking to when I came up here said, hey, there's a cave up here that the Americans used, and there's some, I don't know if they dug it or if they just used it or what, but back in World War II they used it. And then there's actually an old airstrip up here as well. I think that the Americans had built, I might be wrong here, but I've heard from somebody that the Americans actually are the ones who built the Goroka airstrip back in World War II area. And then they had a secondary runway as well in case one of them got bombed or something. Anyways, that one is coming up here. I'll see if I can find it. It's just a big kind of grass field now. Once I get around this hill right here, I should be able to get a hold of the tower. Goroka Tower, November Tango Zulu.
Zulu target.
November Tango Zulu, 8 miles
500
to the east. Your circuit time, 56.
Tango Zulu, QNH 1022, runway 35 right. Track to NSA at right base, report on base.
1022, track and report right base, 35 right, November Tango Zulu. Alright, so there's this big grass line over here, big field. That
company vacate flight strip.
That is, from what I've been told, is the old airstrip, or it used to be another airstrip as well. Doesn't look terribly long, but maybe it went on further, or I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't look that long, to be honest. We'll enter into our base at 5,800 feet, turn final 5,600. So I'm already at 5,900 now. We're 60, more or less 6,800 pounds, so we'll land at 72 knots. Up in harness, we've got landing clearance to go and flaps to go. November Tango Zulu, right base, 35 right.
Tango Zulu, 35 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, 35 right, November Tango Zulu. 120 knots, we'll go 20 degrees of flaps. At 72 knots, so we want 82 knots here. So pull the power back, push the nose up a little bit, that'll slow us down. Once we get our airspeed, then we'll bring our power back in, just to kind of hold it right where we want. Running final, full flaps checklist is complete. I'm just reducing the power in my turn. A little bit more right rudder pressure because I'm in a right turn. So we get our airspeed where we want it, we're just going to bump the throttle or lever up just a tiny bit, just to hold it there. Once we level off, kind of the plane settles into this kind of how it wants. And then from there, I'm just adjusting, I'm making the small adjustments for my airspeed with my pitch, and then adjusting my altitude with my power. Some might disagree with that, but that's what I'm doing. Once I get over, like let's say if I get 75 knots, now I'm adjusting with my power. It's if I'm within 1 knot, that's what I'm doing, is I'm just adjusting it with that. I'm not saying all the way through the whole approach, that's what I'm doing. Alright, we are continuing. I don't see any birds on the runway. We've got a sinker. Hope you guys enjoyed that little flyby from Mibu. Now you guys know what it looks like out there, where all those materials were going. Give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Consider subscribing if you're not already. And welcome to Goroka. Also forgot to mention, if you guys want these same sunglasses, I've got these on my website, as well as a bunch of other stuff you guys can check out if you're interested.
And company.
Let's get my landing fuel, 370 pounds, off all our blowers, our lights. That's it. See you guys next time. Have a great one.